From the blue jay and northern cardinal to the American goldfinch and of course the chickadee, there's a lot when it comes to bird watching here in Maine and more.
Yeah, and keeping track of all the species as well as working to help conserve the state's wildlife and habitats is the nature preserve Maine Audubon. Here to tell us more about the organization and its work and its advocacy and outreach manager is Nick Lund. And first of all, thanks for coming on ARC Maine. And things that people don't realize, bird watching is one of the most popular activities out there. So many people do it.
It's you can do it at any age. You know, I started younger, but I'm going to do it my whole life. I can't wait till I'm retired or in like a old folks home because I can be the best birder there. But it's an activity that you can do at any time of year, any age. There's always something new to see, so it's fast growing and it's a fun thing to do.
I just shared with you during the commercial break, I just went to the Maine Audubon for the very first time a few weeks ago. Yeah. Absolutely blown away. There's probably other people out there who either don't know about Audubon or haven't been. Tell us more about your mission and what you offer people.
Sure. Maine Audubon, the organization, has been around actually since 1843. We started as the Portland Society for Natural History, and we conserve Maine wildlife. We love Maine wildlife. We love the state of Maine, and so we do everything we can to protect Maine wildlife, to share our love of Maine wildlife with everybody we can. We have sanctuaries. This is Gilsland Farm here in Falmouth, which is our headquarters. But we also have Fields Pond up in Holden near Bangor and other sanctuaries around the state. We manage Scarborough Marsh down in Scarborough. So there's a lot of places you can come see us and things to do with us.
Wow. Tell us about your role as the organization's advocacy and outreach manager.
Yeah, so I mean, the outreach part is easy. You know, Maine Audubon's sort of based in love of wildlife, and that's what I get to do. I get to share my love of wildlife right here and anywhere who wants to have me. So I just, talk about what we have here in the state. The advocacy part is, I'm in our advocacy department, which is where among the things we do is that we take lessons we've learned from scientists and bring them to Augusta to talk to, or to DC to tell them how to protect wildlife. And so I'm in that department where we help pass legislation in Augusta or other policies around the state.
All right, tell us more about Maine's birds and how many species are there? What kinds of birds like to come to Maine?
Gladly. I'm ready to roll.
Yeah, give us all of it.
You name it. Okay, so how many species? There's about 350 different species you can find throughout the year in Maine. They're everywhere, and this is the fun thing about birding. You know, I grew up as a fisherman. If you want to fish, you got to go to a lake, and that's the only place you can fish. But as a birder, I can go to the lake, I can go to the ocean, I can go to the top of the mountains, I can go to the forest. It's a fun thing about birding is that you have to cover every single habitat in Maine to see all the birds you want to see. And so right now, we'll just talk about where we are. We're in the middle of fall migration, right? So in the winter, all these birds that eat insects, they have to get out of here to find food. And so they migrate. Millions and millions of birds migrate over Maine every single night, September and October. And so right now, it's like the absolute peak of that, where we have millions of birds moving. They're all leaving for the winter. We have others that stay. The cardinal that you mentioned, the blue jay that you mentioned, they're here year round. And it's just endless excitement, endless stuff to talk about.
Yeah. So the birds are kind of stopping here for a rest stop.
That's right.
Or for a meal, right? On their way south.
That's right. This is the time where you may see birds that you may not see other times of the year in Maine. So for example, if you're on our beaches or a marsh right now, you could see shorebirds, sandpipers, and things that spend their summers up in the Arctic and then are cruising down to South America, Central America, but stop in Maine to eat whatever, worms and things in the mud. Well, same thing with little songbirds, warblers and things that spend their summers way up north, headed south, will stop in Maine to refuel and head south.
Let's talk more about your work and what you're doing to help conserve habitats in the state.
Sure. I mean, we are doing a lot. There's a lot to do. For example, one of the goals that the state of Maine has is to protect 30% of our land by 2030, 30 by 30 initiative. We're about 1.5 million acres away from that, and so we have a lot of work to do. And so we're working on funding mechanisms for that, identifying lands that we should try to protect and getting that passed. But also sort of getting people outside fundamentally is the essence of our mission, to inspire them, a love in them to protect the habitat. And that's really where it all starts, is connecting with people to foster in them a love of Maine and then protect it later on.
Speaking of protecting the environment and the habitats, let's talk about climate change. What we can do and what you guys are doing.
Yeah, well, so one of the things is measure it correctly. You guys had a great segment earlier about the warming in Maine. We know exactly how Maine is warming and that it is warming, and we are tracking that carefully. And so we are about to come out in a few months with the new Maine Bird Atlas maps, which will show very clearly how previously southern species are moving up into Maine that didn't used to live here, and that species that we think of as Maine species are moving up and out as the climate warms. We are involved in a number of ways in climate initiatives, from promoting renewable energy and making sure it's cited correctly, to having various roles on what's called the Maine Climate Council, which is a big group of folks in Maine who are working to promote all different kinds of policies, from transportation to energy to land use, that are all working to help stem the climate change and mitigate things.
All right, where can people find out more?
MaineAudubon.org, AUDUBON.org. That's our website. We have all of our events. We have tons of naturalist material there. We're here to answer any questions folks might have.
And is it BYOB? Do you bring your own binoculars?
It's BYOB. We have some binoculars. It's BYOB in all senses.
In all senses. Yeah. Truly, I've only been to the Falmouth, Gillsland. Absolutely stunning. Yep. It's gorgeous. Yeah, beautiful.
Come on by. We have free bird walks every Thursday morning down there, and other bird walks at Scarborough Marsh on Wednesday morning. So come on over, hang out.
That's great. Right by the water too.
Yeah,
awesome.
all welcome. All right, thanks so much again.